Are you living out your purpose in life? Are you living out your calling? Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? Are you making a difference? Are you making a good living? Are you happy with the work that you're doing with your life? If not, I want to share with you a process that I went through to not only live out my purpose, but to make a nice living and to free myself to have location independence and really live the life of my dreams. I want to share a process with you that I think can help you. Okay, I'm Dr. Manny Scott, and for 25 years, I traveled all over the world speaking and teaching and encouraging students and teachers and administrators. But I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm a real estate investor. I'm a pilot. I'm happily married. I'm a father of 3 amazing teenagers, and we homeschooled them through middle school. They're now in high school, public school, and we've been to 49 states, 6 continents, and we're blessed and we're flourishing. And I'm using this chapter of my life to share practical wisdom to help you flourish in every area of your life, whether it's personal development, entrepreneurship, real estate investing, dating, marriage, fatherhood, motherhood, wisdom for educators, insights for speakers, tools for ministers. Just want to help you be healthy, wealthy, and wise in every area of your life. I'm not a perfect example, but I'm a living example. And so I'm just here to help as many people as possible flourish in every area of your life, to be connected to God, find fulfillment, to just wake up each day with joy, with purpose, with passion, and to be a blessing to the other people in your life. Okay, so number 1, I want you to ask yourself, what burdens you? What bothers you? What gets on your last nerve? That's usually an indication of what you're called to do. Okay, so if we go to church and there's bad music, it bothers my wife. If we go to church and the preaching is not based on the Bible being rightly interpreted, and preaching that doesn't recognize the diversity of the people in the audience, those kinds of things bother me because I'm called to preach and teach. When I see people who are living beneath their potential, when I see people who are hurting, who feel hopeless, something in me rises up and I feel called to help those people, because that's my purpose. That's my calling, to share the love of God, to share the love of Christ with people through preaching, through teaching, through how I live my life. And that's what I've done for the last 25 years of my life. My question to you is, what burdens you? What bothers you when you think about it? Like, I know people who, when they go to events that are disorganized, they just can't stand it because they're administrators. They're called, part of their purpose is to be administrators, to be leaders. There are some people, you look at the lack of organization, or you look at the lack of direction of an organization. Some people, that bothers them because they have the gift of leadership, and their purpose is to lead and to organize people and processes and products around a shared purpose. Those are leaders. What burdens you? What bothers you? That's number 1. Number 2, I want to share with you some practical things you can do, some steps you can take to create the job or the profession or the career that will allow you to live out that sense of purpose, that sense of calling, that allows you to address that burden that bothers you. So I want to share my screen with you. After finding your burden, what burdens you? What this says right here is what burdens you. Number 2, I want you to list out every job. After you've listed out every job you've ever had, I want you to, whether, for me, I worked at Arby's. In high school, I detailed cars. In college, I was a loss prevention specialist. I was a research assistant for professors. I was a host of the campus events, Showtime at the Apollo, and things like that. I was, after college, a litigation specialist and a law clerk at a law firm. I was the pastor of discipleship and education at my church. Another job I had was assistant pastor of a church. I was the preaching assistant of the senior pastor of another church in Oklahoma City. Just list out your jobs, okay? Then number 3, I want you to take one job at a time and list out what you loved and hated about each of those jobs. What did you love and hated about those jobs? That's number 3. So did you like the salary? Did you like the structure? What did you like about those jobs or love about those jobs? For me, when I was like a loss prevention specialist, I loved the freedom to walk around the campus and to walk around the store and to have keys to certain buildings so I could just go have the freedom and responsibility to do my own thing, but to keep people from stealing. I liked that. When I was a law clerk, I liked the pay fresh out of college, but I did not like sitting in this dark room with fluorescent lights, and I wasn't respected. I didn't get the respect that I wanted, and I didn't like I had no freedom, and I just didn't find that fulfilling. Worked at Arby's, and I was in the back cleaning the fry machine and making sandwiches, and I just didn't like the low pay. I didn't like the rigor of the work. I didn't like cleaning the fry machine. I didn't like the environment. I didn't like the lack of respect. But, you know, I liked the people. Just list out the things you loved and hated about your jobs. When I was a pastor, I loved preaching and teaching. I loved the freedom to travel and pray with people and go to the hospitals and pray with people. Spending time leading Bible studies. I loved putting together an oratorical contest. I loved the rites of passage program we put together. I loved being able to mentor some of the young people who were at the church. I loved those things. List out the things you loved and hated about your jobs. Then, number 4, I want you to just list out things you loved about your jobs and things that you didn't have but you would have liked to have. Okay? List those things out. Just list them all out, and then ask yourself, what jobs, what careers, what professions will allow me to do as many of these things that I love or would love to do? What one job or career, profession would allow me to do that? Okay, list out the professions that would allow you to do the things you love. And then you narrow down, of all of the jobs, of all of the careers, of all the professions, which ones would allow you to do the things you love most. Okay, let me share something with you now. For me, I wanted the freedom. I wanted to preach the Bible, teach the Bible. I wanted the freedom to teach and encourage people outside of church, educators, students, administrators, business leaders, entrepreneurs, nonprofits. I wanted to travel. I wanted to write books. I wanted to mentor people. I wanted the freedom to spend as much time with my family as possible. I wanted the freedom to homeschool my children. I wanted the freedom to work when I wanted to work and take breaks when I wanted to take breaks. I wanted to have location independence. I wanted the freedom to make as much money as possible with integrity and make as much of a difference in the world as possible. And so I listed out all of the jobs that would allow me to do those things. And so pastoring would allow me to do several of those things, but it would also limit me from doing several of those things. Being a professor would allow me to do some of those things, but I'd also be limited from being able to do other stuff. And so I just listed out stuff. And then I put a speaker, professional speaker, education speaker. That for me was the perfect vehicle for me to make a difference in this world and a great living. And I could still be invited to preach and teach. And I could still travel and help educators and students and administrators and business leaders. And I could still determine my own schedule. I could still travel the world. I could still homeschool my kids. I could still do everything that I want to do on my list. Write books, publish books, all of that. So for me, speaking and working for myself was the best path for me to achieve my purpose, live out my calling, and do the things that I love. Okay, so I want to ask you to go through this process and try to find out what path, what profession, what career, what vehicle would free you to live out your purpose and live out your calling. Right now, YouTube is allowing me to live out my purpose and live out my calling. I'm able to teach, I'm able to preach, I'm able to help, I'm able to make a living, I'm able to make a difference, I'm able to spend as much time with my family that I want, I'm able to still publish and do everything that I want to do. I'm fulfilled. This is a great vehicle for me. But for you, what is your path? What is your purpose? What is your calling? Go through these steps. What burdens you? List out every job you've had. Number 3, list out what you loved and hated about each of those jobs. Number 4, list out the things that you loved and the things that you would love to have and be able to do on your job. Number 5, find professions or careers or paths that would allow you to do those things, and then make a decision, narrow down of all of the things you could do, what's the best thing that you should do that would allow you to live out all of these things that you really love, that allow you to live out this sense of calling and this purpose, and to address this burden that you see in the world. I'm your friend, Dr. Manny Scott, and I want to encourage you to not only subscribe to this channel if this helped you, but to like it, to ask a question, to share a comment, to let me know if you're living out your purpose or your calling right now. Are you living it out? Are you living out your calling? Are you living out your purpose? And if not, go through this process. And then I want you to watch other videos on this channel, because I'm going to be sharing a lot on things that I think will help you with your wealth, with your relationships, and with serving and living out your purpose as an educator, as a speaker, as a minister, and whatnot. All right. Thank you for watching. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you soon.